Yo, Ab said we keep our picks and sign a QB in free agency, and that has a better chance to turn things around faster.
That's going to segue.
Yeah. And let's go ahead and let's go ahead and do that, because there are a number of quarterbacks that are potentially coming out as free agents, but there's one guy that he's just familiar to Washington. I don't know. He just makes you want to say, you like that? Thoughts, Kirk Cousins, and the odds of coming back to the Commanders right now. The last I checked, we were the top odds to get the guy. He's a free agent this year. Obviously, we know about the Achilles injury that didn't stop him from dancing at the NFL Awards. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh yeah, dude's got moves. Yeah.
He's got moves and a voice too. Oh. Is he an NSYNC? I don't know. Maybe. But look, Kirk. Hey, when he was with us, we talked about this over the 20 some odd quarterbacks we've had in the last 10, 15 years. He has clearly been the most consistent. I mean, number 4,000 yard seasons, another great seasons for us. We know the downfalls or whatever, but at the same time, we're talking about getting this thing up and rolling and potentially bringing in veterans. I'm going to be very honest with you. I would not be opposed to this. I wouldn't. Kirk is stable. We know what he's going to give to us. And if he actually has a good offensive coordinator and a good coach, somebody that's going to build a line for him, we could do worse. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I mean, Kirk is not a bad quarterback. Nope. He's not a bad quarterback. And I mean, I don't know what it's going to take to get him, but I mean, we then don't have to use that number 2 pick, that we can then pick up a lineman, somebody that can protect him. And then all of a sudden now we got a guy that can just sit in the pocket and dart these guys all the way up and down the field. Will, what are your thoughts about it? Do you like that?
I see what you did there. I can see the advantages to it. I certainly can. Because just like you said, it would allow us to use that number 2 overall pick to leverage for a trade down. It would allow us to go after a Marvin Harrison Jr. or a Joe Alt or a Fashanu, or all the above if you trade down, or Brock Bowers, to provide a big time weapon. So
you said Brock Bowers?
I did.
Did you say first round, Brock Bowers?
Of course, first round.
Okay,
yeah, he's going to be a top 10 pick.
Last year, I was trying to get Michael Mayer in the first round, and I got shut down. That's all I'm saying.
Because I'm not talking about Michael Mayer. We're talking about Brock Bowers here. Big difference.
Keep going, man.
So from a roster construction and turning this thing around quickly, Kirk would be the fastest way to get to respectability. Absolutely. I'm not completely sold that this franchise wants to turn it around that fast. Adam Peters has kind of mentioned the fact that he believes in the core of building through the draft and using free agency to supplement that. And San Francisco made like key signings at times. Like they did put out money for Javon Hargrave, one of those two. So they're not opposed to spending money, but they built their team through the draft. And I think he's going to do the same thing. And so I'm not saying these guys are trying to completely flip the script in year one, that they may recognize it's going to take a little bit more. But I also say from the standpoint of it's the cap space. That's part of the problem is, Kirk, he's not going to be a $50, $60 million a year like Dak is going to be. But I'm hearing he very well could be $40 million a year. Now, I did hear you could spread that out, so he could be around 25 a year, which ironically is the same amount that they wanted to offer him when he was here, 6-8 years ago, and he said, "No, I can do better than that." Right? Wouldn't that be funny? Makes 25 a year. But I would say we need to allocate those resources elsewhere. And so, he is the best free agent. He's the safest. Like, this is a good pickup. You can draft someone in the second round, maybe a Bo Nix, something like that to groom, someone, JJ McCarthy, something like that. But it's going to cost more than I think we need to spend. So I wouldn't love the idea, but that would also say to me, they're going after this. They want to improve this team quickly. So that would be exciting.
Yeah, and then this is my concern, like you were just saying. What are we offering him? How much it would be? I mean, but if they put all that into him, that'd be fine. Like I wouldn't have an issue. But my big red flag is, and we don't know what's going to happen. Just like Aaron Rodgers, he's coming off the Achilles injury. We don't know how he's gonna recoup and revamp and what type of QB he was. Now, albeit this guy wasn't a mobile guy.
He didn't have much of a giddy up before.
Right. But seeing him dance, he does have a couple steps. So I mean, I honestly, I want to know how back to 100% will he get in his play? Does that does bother me, because if we definitely need to get an O-line to make sure that he doesn't his jersey doesn't get dirty at all. You know what I mean? But again, it's like, how much you putting into this? Ab said, this is my area to talk about. Depends on how long we sign him, but first year cap hit would most likely be relatively low. So it should not be an issue. And again, if we make that move, I mean, it'd be good. But to your point, and this was my whole situation with Sam last year. It was the team that I want is kind of what Gibbs had. We talked about with Charlie Casserly and those guys, and they put Bobby Beathard, and they put those teams together. You build up. You might pick a couple guys here and there, free agents or something like that, but you're building up through the draft. You're getting these guys in. And, I mean, to your point, you said what Peters did in San Francisco. How many years did they get the number one pick? And that D-line is what we thought our D-line was going to be. Mm-hmm. With Bosa and them boys, that's what our D-line was supposed to be, getting through the draft. So, I would love to have a quick turnaround and everything, but I don't want a quick turnaround just so we can have 1 year of success a couple years down the line and just return to this crap. You know what I mean? So Give me that. If it's slow and steady, let's build each year. 1 year we'd focus on that line 100%, then focus on the deep, get those trenches right, get these pieces of the puzzle. And if that means, we're going to have a sacrifice and we're going to be top 10 for maybe next year, well, that's fine, because at the end of the day, what are we fighting? What are we shooting for? Are we shooting to be like the Cowboys and get to the playoffs every year and then answer the question, why can't we get any farther? Or do we want to be the daggone Chiefs and really start building something for the future? You know what I mean? Like, it's not easy, but the Chiefs, the Patriots, the 49ers, albeit they can't seem to get over the hump, they're there every year. That's what I want. Consistently in that hunt, consistently about to go over the top, get to the championship. And I think that's going to need us to take some time. Unfortunately, Washington fans are a very impatient bunch. So I don't know how much time they're going to give. But honestly, if it means bringing back the glory days and bringing back consistent, sustained success, I'm with that. With that.
I was going to say, Sean, I want to be like Dallas. I want to be in the playoffs year in and year out and get bounced. But I also want to be like the Chiefs and win. And I want to be like the Green Bay Packers and be a respectable organization where people are like, oh man, what if they get hot?
Right.
They might, I'm okay with losing in the playoffs every year right now based on what we've had. I'm with that right here.
Which is fine. Y'all can have, but I
totally.
To me, what Dallas has is fool's gold. And if we're gonna chase after that, then what do we really care about winning it all? Like, do we really care about building up something? Yes. You know what I mean? Like, if
I see what you're saying.
The Dallases and the Bills and those type of teams, albeit they can't get past the best teams in the conference, but still, why is it that San Francisco can go to Super Bowl with Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, with Jimmy G? All these quarterbacks that people are like, still got to question how good they are, because they built everything around them. That's what I want to do. And however long that takes, we're in a position where we can do that. I just think that's the move to make, instead of let's win next year just so everybody can be like, yeah, we're a winner.
Well, and I think Josh Harris agrees with you, because I can't remember if it was either at the press conference. I think it's at the press conference he gave when they fired Ron Rivera. He basically said, we're going to build this up right. He goes, I know we can be a 500 team next year if we want to, but is that the type of sustained success that we want? And so because of that, I don't think us trading up to number 1, I don't think signing Kirk Cousins is the route that they're going to go. I think they would much rather do the pick number 2, or as you said, potentially trade down, anticipate stuff like that to build through the draft.
Yeah.